Hello folks, welcome to another Bitcoin market analysis by Inspocrypto. I'm not going to start now a big new initial comment. We will make once again a nice overview to check what's, right now they are a little bit indicating what could happen next. And in my opinion, that's what's going to happen. But we will talk about just in the next chapters and figure out how the market looks like. After Jay's chat or talk yesterday in that show, I was reading a different, I'm not sure if that's misinterpretation or maybe some people are doing it to trap people. I really don't know. But I was reading a lot of wrong definitions of what pivot or pivot is, Fed pivot. To make it very easy, example, if you're driving on the road and you stop your car, doesn't mean that you are driving now in the opposite direction. So if you are driving in one direction, even if you brake your car, doesn't mean you have changed the direction, right? It just means that you are braking. So that's negative acceleration, or how some physics will say. However, and that's the big problem. Pivot or pivot, I just say pivot. I don't know why. I feel much more comfortable with pivot. Pivot means we make a U-turn and we drive in the opposite direction. Means that the Fed would stop to reduce its balances, so balance sheet, and at the same time they would decline their interest rates, not reduce the increase of interest rates, so slow, make their hike slowly. No, that means negative, minus. Instead of plus 25 bps, minus 25 bps or minus 50 bps like we had years ago, hitting even in some countries a negative interest rate. And that's very important to understand that, because we are far away from pivot or from pivot. And that's why Jay is using, I like Jay, I like him, to be honest. I think he is a very honest person. I mean, I was always watching and hearing him, and I don't feel he is someone bad, to be honest. He's doing, we can talk about the mismanagement of the Fed in the past, absolutely. But I don't feel the same with Jay Powell, to be honest. However, he is very careful with his rhetoric, and I know why. Because the whole situation is very fragile. And that was my big motivation yesterday, to start this I think it's the longest thread I have ever tweeted. But to give you a little bit an insight how the situation looks like. The US and many other countries, like for example many countries in Europe as well, depends on other countries, and not necessarily countries, friendly countries or allies. And that's the big problem. If we talk about supply chain disruption, we are talking about China. We know the situation between the US and China, and even Europe and China. If we talk about food and for example energy crisis, we need to talk about Ukraine and Russia. And we also know the situation between both. If we talk about energy to find and to fix this, big pressure coming from the energy side, then we need to talk about Venezuela, because just the US started on a very diplomatic way to find a solution with Venezuela to get access again to their oil. And when you see all these, you know that at any time something can happen, and we don't need it's not necessarily something big, but a little thing can happen, and the whole agreement between Venezuela, United Nations, and the US will stop. And the US will get another problem, because they are using a lot of their crude oil reserves to stabilize their economy. So they depend of this agreement with Venezuela. But Venezuela is a very close ally of Iran, of China, and Russia. So indirectly, the US is depending a little bit of China, Russia, and Iran. Indirectly. However, but that explains a lot why Jay is using this very careful rhetoric, because he really don't know what can happen in 1 month, in 2 months, or in 3 months. Right now, it doesn't look that bad. We have seen that the GDP is not declining, so indicating that the economy performance is still intact. That's something good. We will see tomorrow how the unemployment rate looks like. If it's going up, or it maintains, or even reducing more, would be also very nice. We received today some other economic data. For example, we can see job openings lifted up a little bit, not that big, but a little bit, by 34,000 job openings, more than forecasted. Crude oil inventories reduced by 12.6 million barrels. That's the biggest decline in the last 3 years, so that's really big. The core PCE price index reduced by 0.3% from the previous one, so from September. Remember, September, August, holidays, and so on and so forth. Indicating a forecast that they had a forecast of 0.3%. And they published today 0.2%, indicating that the inflation is declining, but really slowly, too slowly, in my opinion. If we check, for example, how the Fed already started to hike rates and to reduce their balance sheet. Manufacturing PMI 49 instead of 49.8, also a nice indicator. Initial jobless claims, they reduced by 10,000 and even 26,000 from the previous data. So also not that bad, indicating that the economy is still strong and gives, of course, the Fed enough space to keep rising interest rates, because they mentioned that many times, that their main goal is to bring inflation back to 2%. And in my opinion, pivot is not going to happen. The only scenario where I can see a pivot, for example, is because all what we have seen this year will have a bigger impact next year. Unemployment rate, company earnings, also indicating that they are under pressure at the moment. Many companies already announced to reduce their staff. And Big companies are not going to reduce their staff or announce that today and, kick them out tomorrow. That's a process. They need to talk with syndicates if they have some, and, to make such kind of social plans. That takes months. That takes months, 3, 4, 5, sometimes 6 months. So we are talking about 2023. What do you think is going to happen next year? I can tell you what's going to happen next year. Unemployment rate will go up, people will flip to fear, and they will stop to spend money. And that's where the deflationary effects will start. And that's where pivot can take place when inflation starts to decline in upper pace. And that's something we need to see. It's of course too early, but in my opinion, that's the most logic scenario for next year. So Wall Street can do whatever they want. They can push and make one all-time high after the other. They can do it, absolutely. But at a certain point, they will not find any retailers to buy their bags. That's something that will happen. And it happened in the past, and we know what happens then. But at the moment, everything works fine. And as we know, MasterCard, American Express, Visa card are mentioning that they are, they have a bigger revenue. People are just increasing their debts via credit cards. So it works short term. We will see what happens next year. Okay, now it was longer than expected, but it's relatively complex, the whole topic. So I really hope, and that's, I try to provide all this information to make it more simple to understand what's happening. And please, please, please always make questions. Don't just read something and accept what you are reading. It doesn't matter if this person has 38,000 followers or 1 million. Really, it doesn't care. Always make questions. That's your right, and that's part of a democracy process. Always make questions. So let us now talk about what's happening. And you see, that was a little bit expected. We see here SPX, SPY, both have their a bigger resistance area, and they bounced here. And we will go down. We will see how far. In my opinion, Bitcoin should go down to that area at 16,600, and then we need to see what's going to happen next. I trust more Bitcoin at the moment than equities, to be honest. So let us go forward. What we see here at the moment is that the weights ratio declined. As you can see, it declined, but it's lifting up once again. So indicating, and that's not illustrated yet, but it will happen, I guess, tomorrow or the day after. So means that the weights ratio 30 days moving average will start to lift up once again, indicating that whales are sending more Bitcoins to centralized exchanges at a very low price, 17K. Even I really thought we can do 18K. Now I'm struggling. At the beginning I said 17, 17.2, 75. Then I said 18 because I saw some opportunities to go up, but the sell pressure at 17K was intact. So they used 70K, they protected 17K even without any big sell orders there, and Bitcoin failed to make more progress to the upside. Not saying that's it, we need to see, but at the moment doesn't look that bullish. So if we take a look now, for example here, let me just refresh. So if we for example check right now what's happening, the weights ratio 1 hour time frame just did something like, it looks like a double bottom, and right now at 98, indicating that the sell pressure is rising very, and that was before we started to dump, and right now we are doing that here. And that was the whole preparation. So sending Bitcoins to centralized exchanges. And that's why the weight ratio 30 hours moving average is lifting up, still between 80 and 85. So not that critical. Everything above of 90 is where the storm is coming closer. Yeah. So related to stablecoin and centralized reserves, sorry, stablecoin reserves on centralized exchanges, very volatile, up, down, and so on and so forth. So in my opinion, I know that many are cashing out because I'm receiving those whale alerts indicating, that, yeah, what should I say? That they need to refill this stablecoin reserves, and that's why it looks very volatile. While at the same time, I'm noticing via whale alerts that people are still just cashing out almost 150 to 100 millions per day. So let us go forward. So also here we can see that the inflow activity started to lift up. So for example, that was, in my opinion, was that yesterday. That was yesterday with almost 4,000 Bitcoins. And today, few hours ago, also another 2,600 Bitcoins. So also indicating here such kind of preparation before they let the price go down, while at the same time outflows reducing. So both are reducing, but here this part reducing even more, indicating, and we will check that. I'm not going to make any teaser. Well, we can talk about that. You can see that a lot of Bitcoins are arriving to centralized exchanges, and the reserves are lifting up more and more and more, indicating we are by far not over here. So we will see another dump, it seems. Related to stablecoins, nothing happening at the moment. At the moment, looks like more we are seeing here more people taking profit, but correlates as usual. So absolutely nothing happening. I guess in the next few hours we will see a rising stablecoin outflows from centralized exchanges, indicating they're cashing out. But that's it from here. Let us go and check the future market. So talking about the future market, I zoomed in so we can see. I don't know what happened here because the price didn't anything. I would say something cashed out big because the open interest just dumped, while the funding rate was lifting up, so indicating demanding more loans, and the leverage ratio also dumped. So I guess someone closed or just got liquidated. It's something I really don't know. I just zoomed in because, if I'm zooming out, we had here, it's wrong data. I don't know why it's still here, why CryptoPunk didn't remove that yet, but well, however, if we check that, the open interest was lifting up very nice, and then afterwards it dumped very hard with, as you can see, with the leverage ratio, but the price didn't move a lot. So I'm not sure if someone was playing with ultra high leverage and he got liquidated or just closed these positions. I guess that's the case, because I also, even here related to Bitcoins, I don't see anything big. We are still maintaining a volume below of 2,000 Bitcoins. Well, here 2,500 Bitcoins, that was at midnight, but afterwards almost everything below of 2,000 Bitcoins. And even related to stablecoins, Here it's the biggest with 110 millions. That's nothing. That's really nothing. But that's not new. Since a while, since we reached our new level here at 15.6, the whole market just cooled down a lot. That's the daily, where we usually can see, for example, they liquidated yesterday 1,000, almost 1,400 bitcoins in shorts, while only 280 bitcoins in long. Sorry. What was that, Inspo? So if we check that, it seems, no, I don't see that. It seems someone really closed their positions, and that's why the open interest declined and leverage ratio as well, because we can't see any kind of liquidation here. I guess someone who was longing just closed the positions before. However, at the moment, as you see, they liquidated more longs than shorts. Here, 500, much more, and that's it. That's really it. I mean, however, we still have more longs than shorts, and it seems they are accumulating longs, and that gives me a little. I'm not scared because of that, but I would be extremely careful longing, to be honest. I would even prefer to, buy DCA, just buy a little bit spot now if you want, but or long with extremely low leverage, and before we go up, we will go down, and I think we will go down, really down. So we will see. If we take a look, for example, to Binance, we see on Binance what's happening. Open interest was recovering well, and then, it declined a little bit, so indicating someone just closed these positions, but it seems not here related to Binance. So I don't know where they placed or had their positions open. The leverage ratio also maintaining, and funding rate lifting up. It's and if we check that, that's obviously a positive trend, indicating they are demanding more longs than shorts, and that matches very well to my opinion, that we still have more longs than shorts, even, and that's also very interesting. On Bitfinex, shorts declining from 145 millions to 124 millions, while on Binance lifting up, while longs maintains there. So people are at the moment, but it makes sense right now because, many are just jumping in and say, oh, look, the price will go down. So of course they try to take the train to the downside and make money with that. On Ethereum, looks healthy once again. Always looks much better than on Bitcoin, in my opinion. Even the gap is not that big anymore. So let us check the Kingfisher. I know it works now. It was working at least yesterday. Oh, let me see if it. I hope it works. Yeah, it looks good. Yeah, great. So let us check. At the same time, I just go and check what's happening to the market. Okay, nothing special. Not yet. Hello? Oh, don't tell me another arrow. No. Okay, great. So we have 250 millions, and someone is really shorting very big, it seems. I really can't think that that's retailers using mid leverage, and we have there 200 millions positions waiting to get liquidated. I really can't imagine that at 20,500. So someone big since yesterday. That's a big change. Since yesterday, we received that huge cluster indicating someone wants to push down. So we will see the gamma walls, but I think the gamma walls were something like at 16,750. So we have a POC there, nothing big, but it would match to go down in that level, and then we need to see what's going to happen next. So here, if they want to liquidate till 16,540, everything else would make any big sense. But it's at least the next bigger cluster close to our current price. So to go more up wouldn't make sense because it's almost impossible at the moment to liquidate this here. So we need to see. Also at the same time, we need to have in mind a Silvergate bank, that's the crypto bank. So it's the infrastructure. It's the liquidity provider for almost the whole crypto industry. And it seems that these guys are in trouble, like Genesis. Also another big piece of the puzzle. I really hope that both are not going to collapse, because if Silvergate goes down, it will take Genesis and some others, I guess. That will be worst case. That will be extremely worst case. That will send us back to, well, I'm not going to make such a comment or statement right now, but that will be extremely, extremely bad for the whole industry. And I tweeted today, nice that one confirmed what I said, because many people are talking about capital, liquidity, but we don't need to talk about liquidity or capital. The only big asset we need, that's the core function of every market, is trust. If you don't have any trust anymore, it's over. Crypto will not be over. Even if we crash, it's not possible, because it's part of a political agenda. So it's not going to happen. That's something I can tell you. It's not going to happen. Crypto will not disappear. It can crash, yes. It will be worst case, of course. But, well, then it means just buy more dips and sees us a big bag for retirement. It's for the long term. It will make you very happy. And the short term, you will cry. And the midterm, you will be frustrated. But that's the way. That's really the way how you can make big money with such markets. That's, what many other people, many idols out there who did a lot of money with stocks, they did exactly the same. When people said, oh no, the market crashed, it's over, they bought. They were the brave guys and bought. Like the first persons who bought Bitcoin after their launch, that was believers, that were pioneers, and that's the same class we are. We are pioneers. We are still so early in this market. And that's the only thing I can tell you. Of course, it's my personal opinion. It's not financial advice, but I can tell you that crypto is here to stay. It will change, but it's here to stay. That's something for sure. However, let us go forward. So if we take a look now to the Binance CBD, spot CBD, for those who are watching my analysis the first time, we have the cumulative volume delta related to Binance BTC USDT pair. We have the aggregated. What does that mean? We have different exchanges combined here. And we have the aggregated CBDs for futures, coin margin futures, that means they are using Bitcoin as collateral. and we have stablecoin margin futures indicating they are using stablecoins as collateral. So if we take a look here, we can see that market traders are still looking very bearish at the moment. On the aggregated one looks a little bit different. That's a thing we need to figure out. Who is pushing up more? And we see Bitfinex, for example. Bitfinex market traders buying more than selling. That's what cumulative volume delta is indicating. So matches very well to the chart, to the price development. If we go back, we can see that it seems on Binance, traders, market traders, really using the opportunity to sell instead. Kraken, for example, was doing exactly the same or similar. If you check, it looks very accurate and correlates very well what both are doing. So at the moment, looks like they are distributing. If we go forward, we see Bitget also here distributed all the time. Afterwards, they started to push and now distributing. So also here, market traders selling more than buying. On Coinbase, it looks now a little bit different. So yeah, they are just right now, you know, pushing up a bit. They distributed here very well, now pushing up, buying more than selling. And of course, Bitstamp extremely bullish because nothing is happening. They are not even distributing, they are maintaining, there nothing happening. So if we go and check now what's happening here, we can see also, let us use another color. We see that that's a little bit, well, we still have there, but you know, I would say that's what's happening at the moment. Even we had here a deviation, a bigger one. However, it means that on both sides are declining at the moment, but much higher. The red bars indicating much more inflows coming in, and that matches, of course, perfectly with the Wales ratio 30 hours moving average, but also with the 30 days moving average, and also indicating here that if we take a look, for example, we can say that from here until here, indicating we still have almost 100,000 Bitcoins. Since here, it's where the whole preparation started. They sent more Bitcoins to centralized exchanges, more. Then we started to dump. We reduced that a lot. Then we had the bank run due FTX and so on and so forth. Now it's going up, indicating right now we have almost, sorry, not 100,000, 75,000. So still 75,000. A little bit more because it was lifting up, but you know, it's a lot, because if you want really to unload all of that, and that looks extremely, that's why I said I would be extremely careful now, you know, but because every time, and this time it looks like they sent much more, but when you have such bigger inflows, afterwards the price goes down. That's what it happens, you know. So we had here, so the price goes up and afterwards they start to dump it. So something similar could happen once again, hitting 15K, for example. I would be extremely careful here. I wouldn't feel very comfortable. If we check the entities, retailers reducing right now balances, that matches maybe a little bit with market rates. These guys here lifting up more, so it's possible that some retailers have more than one Bitcoin now and shifted now in wallets to these entities. These guys lifting up more. These guys at the moment, the trend not doing anything but much more positive. Market maker entities also lifting up, not big at all, absolutely. They reduced even, so we received once again some wallets from upper entities indicating that they are reducing their balances, and that's why it lifted up a little bit. While, as you see, they are reducing more, and almost 80%. 80 to 90% are wallets related to exchanges. So, but as said, 80 to 90%, we still have a gap of 10 to 20%. Nobody knows exactly who is behind, if that's OTCs, if that's, and one thing why we had, for example, this big decline in this entity is because Binance started, because of the proof of reserves. They said that the auditors just said they had to send Bitcoins to another wallet, and I don't know if that's true, to be honest. I don't know if that's true. However, they shifted to different wallets and they send back to bigger entities. So we have even bigger entities, bigger than 100,000 Bitcoins. I think Binance has 2 or 3 wallets involved to entities with more than 100,000 Bitcoins. So they got these Bitcoins and they reduced a lot. If we take a look, for example, to the fund flow, what's the fund flow? Is that useful? The fund flow indicates from different entities if they are taking out some Bitcoins, for example. And if we check, we can see I'm usually always checking this one when I notice, 2,200 Bitcoins outflow from entities 1,000 to 10,000, so what I call the market maker entities, and at the same time here another 1,000. Usually, okay, we will go down afterwards, and that's usually what's happening. Nothing here. Well, market activity very low. Another thing we have seen today, also very interesting, is a big outflow. That's really the biggest outflow since December last year by miners. It's I guess one single transaction with about 11,000 Bitcoins. It's not that bad. So nothing happening here. We had all this, and I would say we are done. Yeah, we are. So I just changed. I just checked yesterday with the HD view, and it can be very helpful. But I'm not sure if that's something you like, to be honest, because I see the lines very well, so the orders, but I guess you can't see that good. However, what I did here, or what we see, they once again placed a wall at 17.5, and the next wall would be at 15.5 or even 15k. So even we have here some little orders at 16k, where we know we have there a gamma wall, but everything is indicating that we will go down first and retrace before we go up. And you remember what I mentioned about the context to Wyckoff, because many people, I mean, I like a Wyckoff. For me, that's one of the keys of every market when it comes to manipulation and so on and so forth. And so I said, if 17k, because I was struggling if 70k is our resistant area, or maybe the Wyckoff resistance area, or maybe 18k. But if it's 17k, then automatically we need to retest again the support area of 15k. And on the way, it should be the last point of supply. So it depends now if we are in an accumulation pattern or redistribution pattern. If we are in a redistribution pattern, that means we should go to a new lower level. It doesn't mean we have to go to 13. It's also possible just to go to 14,500, for example. If that's the accumulation, usually we should have a retest of the spring or such kind of spring with a higher volatility. At least I would expect a higher volume, something I missed last time where I said it doesn't look like an accumulation pattern at the moment. But, you know, we need to see. However, let us go to Deribit, and that's pure perp. We don't see also here they at 18,000. Mainly limiting the way down at 18,000. They reduced a lot and now waiting at 13,700. Bitstamp. Wow. Okay, also 13,500. Everything below 14k is well protected. Everything else, no, 15k, but that's it. Binance. And Binance also started, they reduced a lot of sell orders and volume here, but they still maintain here a bigger, I would say they moved one wall just to 19k, and at the moment we are just here also protecting the levels to the upside. Right now, even here, it seems, it looks like they don't want to let the price go up and instead pushing a little bit more to the downside, reduce the volume at 16k. The next bigger one would be at 15.5, reduced volume here. So usually I would say, wow, they reduced a lot of liquidity. 14k, between 14 and 15k could be possible. Bitfinex waiting at 15.8 at the moment. A lot of stuff waiting here, for example, close to our pocket 16.6. So we will see what happens at 16.6. OKEX, nothing. Kraken still waiting at 50. Nothing big here. Bitget, nothing. BitMEX, nothing. Just here a little bit, but 17.5 reduced as well. Binance Futures, wow, they won too long it seems. So if we check that, we will have, that's not, 1,600 bitcoins gap between longs and shorts and orders. But you see what they are doing here also at 19k. Yeah, and that's it. Also waiting here at 16k and so on. So I think the next most interesting part is going to be here, for example, for them very close to the current price at 16.8 because of the POC here, and the next one would be at 16.5. Bitfinex derivatives, nothing now. Kraken futures, OKEX futures, nope. OKEX swap, they are selling after they bought enough. They are right now selling. That's absolutely fine. And someone is waiting at 16,300. That's the first time that I see a wall here with 1,600 bitcoins. So 16,300. And Bitget, nothing. Okay, that's it.